Okay, everyone, another filthy DVD with yours truly. I got my friend Justin help me out. Look at his face, super excited. You know, that's what happens when you've been sitting on your ass with knee surgery. You get out of shape and grumpy. Okay, so before I start my DVDs, I always like to give thanks to the people that support me and all they do for the grappling community. Number one, I like to always bring up Hayabusa for the threads. You can see we're both sporting brand new Hayabusa gear. I don't know how new it will be compared to when this DVD comes out, but when we filmed it, this is all brand new stuff. I love their gear. Like, if you've had Hayabusa stuff in the past, you probably understand why. It's badass. Their gloves, their boxing gloves and stuff, man, they're fantastic. Fantastic. They're pricey for a reason, because the quality is out of this world. Matter of fact, they were recognized by Men's Health magazine for being like the top glove maker in the country. They're just unreal. Their gis are obviously the bomb. They're well known for their gis, but they don't do the biggest selection in no gi because they want to keep the quality high. And sometimes when you have other companies that have like a lot of different designs, the quality is kind of the same and kind of crappy. This stuff, believe it or not, these new Hayabusa duds are all true to size. If you bought some stuff in the past, like a rash guard that ran a little small, that actually had to do with the odor guards that they bought. When they got the samples, it was very stretchy, but when they bought it in bulk, it was a little different quality. It was actually a little tighter. So a lot of people that were Hayabusa lovers like myself had to go up a size. But the new material, let's put it this way. This is an XL, and look how much, I got plenty of room here. It's great stuff. It breathes. The thing I love about Hayabusa is I get folliculitis, in my hair from rash guards rubbing. Hayabusa is the only brand that doesn't give me folliculitis whatsoever. I can wear it, train in it, never had a problem. I could pull a Danaher and probably wear this, wear their rash guards every day for everything, to go bowling or to a wedding, and it probably wouldn't bother me whatsoever. So I really like their equipment personally. I'm not just bragging about because I got a good relationship with them. The other thing, there's a reason why they've been around forever. They've been around since the tap out days, and we can see all those companies like Full Contact Fighter, all these other companies just kind of tanked. Hayabusa's still around because they're a well-run company. Craig's the owner, is badass. They both, he's a grappler himself. So they're making products. They're really proud of their products, and I'm proud to be associated with them. So if you haven't checked out their gear, it's worth getting. The one thing I noticed too, like, you get a lot of gear, you train in it, you throw it in your bag, it's all sweaty and stinky, you forget about it, right? And then, oh crap, you go to pull it out and it smells like Clorox balls. It's bad, it stinks. And you don't even want to throw it away because you don't want your trash can to smell that bad, so you just burn it in the backyard and say a little prayer. So one thing I noticed about Hayabusa, for some reason, just doesn't hold stink. I've made a mistake before, been able to wash it and been just fine. So you don't get the smell of BO and ass. It really comes out really nice. So a lot of respect to Hayabusa. I love that company, man. I really do. I think I'll be with them as long as I'm in the sport. Okay. So other products I want to talk about, and you would think that these companies are paying me. A lot of them, they're not. They're just not. I really just believe in their products. Now, company for CBD. CBD, I got a lot of arthritis, bone spurs, and with the Behçet's disease that I suffer with, it causes more joint pain. CBD has been a real godsend for me because I don't take painkillers. I refuse to take them now. I just feel like it's a real terrible drug, and it's easy to lead to abuse. So CBD has been like a godsend for me. I can actually take high levels of CBD, feel pretty numb and functional. And CBD, you and me, I really like who they are. They did do a Godfather product, and it's really strong CBD, liquid eyedropper kind of thing. They put under the tongue, but they were nice enough to put my old logo on there, Neil Melanson, and I thought that showed a lot of support towards me. I didn't expect that. The owner is just a fan. He's a grappler. He's a grappler like you and me, and he gives back to the community, and that stuff's important. Remember, like grappling, we're not established as other sports by any means. We're still a dark dark horse in the game of athletics. And a lot of people don't want to get behind it because they don't fully understand it. But there's companies out there like CBD, you, me, that do. They understand, they give back. They run the subverse competitions, so where guys can compete and actually make money. They're trying to build the sport. I love companies that give back to our sport. So it's really simple. If you want to buy CBD products, buy from a company that actually uses some of the profits to reinvest in that community. That is so important. If we want to blow the sport up and make it mainstream, we need companies like CBD, you, me, and other brands that support our sport with economics and supporting athletes. So I'm a big supporter of them. I'm very grateful for their friendship. Their products are awesome. A lot of times you get CBD gummies and they taste kind of oily or whatever. They're kind of weird. They're freaking gummy worms. I can eat a whole bag in one sitting. They taste just like gummy worms. So their stuff's really delicious. So just give them a look if you're into CBD products. They ship kind of everywhere in the States. Two other companies I want to support because I just love their products. I don't get anything from them. One is Neck Flex. I don't know if you notice my neck's pretty stout. I have terrible neck problems. I got a bulging disc and a herniated disc. And a lot of people that follow my social media, you hear me talk a lot about Neck Flex. Neck Flex is just designed, it's a device that you strap around your head, almost like a helmet. It has multiple D-rings, and you can hook it up to cable machines, bands, all this other stuff, chains, and train your neck, all parts, 360. And most of us, train, pulling backwards with our neck, but it also creates an imbalance. The front of your neck doesn't get trained, the side of it doesn't, and there's no twisting. So what happens is it didn't help me at all. I had terrible neck pain. I was due for surgery, and I did not want to get cut open. I had 2 back surgeries, and now they want to do a third one to fuse my disc. It never really felt good getting those back surgeries, to be honest. I didn't feel much of a difference. But I was a little hesitant on neck surgery. I got the Neck Flex. Pat Cummings had one. I tried it and I was sold. Once I started training the front of my neck, holy crap, the difference was crazy. My neck pain is gone. As long as I use it consistently. I put off surgery. I haven't needed surgery. I'm sure eventually, if my hand goes too numb or whatever, I might have to do it. But if you got neck problems, and if you're a grappler, you probably have neck problems, the answer is to build the muscles around along the spine there, okay? Get a Neck Flex. They're about $100 last time I checked, but they've made them more comfortable now, even like a little chin strap so it doesn't tear you up. They're trying to master their product, and the one thing, it comes with chains and bands. It comes in like a bag kit. You have everything you need. I love hooking it up to a cable machine where I can do the front, I can do the sides, I can do twisting motions, and which helps a lot. And if you're like me, you got to learn, like I post on my head. You want to be able to post on your head. And if you're a grappler, I mean, that's what a lot of people go for, is chokes. Protect yourself. Protect yourself. It makes no sense to have big, strong arms and a skinny ass neck, especially if you're in this sport. If I see a guy with a skinny ass neck, he's going to get choked. It's very easy to manipulate a guy that doesn't have that neck, especially if you have a longer neck. Okay, so get a Neck Flex or some type of device with it, like it, and train your damn neck. It will help you so much. Especially a lot of times you get rolled or turned, your head, you're not ready for it. Your head hits the mat or something. If you're in MMA and you don't want to get knocked out as easily, training your neck helps that. It kind of keeps your neck a little stronger and keeps it from whipping as much, knocking you out. So a lot of athletes I know that have bad chins, once they strengthen their neck, they're able to take punches again. So that's another aspect. The other company I'm just going to mention and wrap this up is I do a lot of stuff for grip work. One is because it helps my grappling game immensely, and it also helps my shooting game. I like to shoot a lot. Okay, hands are super important, whether you're working out, if you're a guy that works on the field or cranking on cars or whatever the case is. You can't go wrong with ever having strong hands. Gripito is just a cool device. You don't need to go to a gym and work out. You can put it in a bucket of sand and twist and turn. They got all different ones. I really like it. I probably use my Gripito 2 to 3 times a week, depending. I almost bring it with me every time I hit the gym. I really like it. The guys there are grapplers. They're super cool. And you know, they're not super rich or anything. They're just trying to make good products to help guys in the field. For you older athletes, like I'm in my 40s, but even if you just basically you're starting to get to the age or where you're just scrambling as hard on your heart and lungs, you just don't have the cardio. It's hard to maintain that. My advice to you is strong hands and strong neck. If you can outgrip a guy, you can kind of neutralize a lot of their transitions. You can protect yourself, having that strong neck as a backup and be able to post on your head. You know, these are things I've done on purpose to change my grappling game, so I don't have to scramble as much, because I'm older, I'm a bigger guy. Yeah, it's a lot harder on me than it used to be. When I was younger, I could scramble all day long, be very fast. Now I can be fast, but I'm not going to be able to maintain it. It's just very hard on me. Okay, and if you're an older guy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, and if you're a younger guy, you still don't want to have bitch hands. You know, you gotta get your hands strong. It's worthless having weak hands. All right, no, it's just, you know, you're not much of a man if you can't you gotta ask your girlfriend to open a pickle jar for you. You know what I'm saying? So get strong grips. All right, strong grips. So those are just companies I want to hat tip. I'm very grateful for their help and support, and some of them, you know, they don't even help me at all. I just big fans of them. So I'm one of those guys. I just like to support people that help support me. Okay, now I'm going to get into K control. So this is the special K. I'm sorry I'm talking a lot. I just want to give you some of the history of K before we start this, and then it's nothing but techniques. You skip it if you feel like you need to, but it's important that I get this part across. Now, I'm the founder of K Control. I'm not saying I'm the only one to play the position, because how do I know if, you know, kids in China or Lebanon or fucking playing games like that 20 years ago? I have no idea. I was influenced because this is a bit of a Hayastan system. I came out of Hayastan, Gokur school, and that's where I got my black belt. And the person that gave me my black belt originally there is Carl Parisian. Carl, if you don't know who he was a welterweight UFC fighter. He was a judo junior Olympian when he was young. He started fighting very young, 14 years old. He was fighting in Mexico against grown men. And he stopped doing the competitive judo, even though he was set to go to the Worlds and to the Olympics, because he was trying to make money for himself and his family. And judo you don't really make money, you spend money. Whereas in the MMA, you get paid to compete. So he switched over to MMA. He was a real tough street kid, Armenian. And he was one of the most talented, he's alive, I shouldn't say was, he is the most talented athlete I've ever gotten the chance to work with. And I've worked with a lot of great athletes. It's just pure talent. Caro was it. He didn't train for fights. He would literally smoke cigarettes the week of the fight, gamble. After cutting weight, he didn't want to eat, but he'd have some cake. You know, he was just one of those guys. He was a loose cannon. But then he would go out there and beat tough guys effortlessly with pure talent. He was a very remarkable guy, very remarkable. Unfortunately, he had some personal life problems that brought him out of the sport, and he still struggles today. But he's doing much better. I'm very happy. The reason why I called it K Control is because I like to hat tip people. I call it K Control. K stands for Caro. Okay, so Caro. I used to watch him play this style, and basically I mimicked it, and then I'm very good at systemizing things and problem solving. I really enjoy that part of the game, figuring things out. That's why I have a lot of weird stuff, and I called it K Control or K Guard. It has really nothing to do with the shape of the body, and because I'm not the most popular grappler coach out there, I was more, you know, I switched over to MMA because that's where the money is, at least back then. I mean, Gordon's making great money now, but it wasn't like that when I first started at all. Grappling was just like a step to MMA. So I kind of, even though grappling is my passion and it's what I do best, MMA coach is what I did for a living. So a lot of jiu-jitsu guys don't really know me as well. And it's unfortunate, especially now that I'm trying to communicate with the grappling community, that I'm not as well known. I didn't compete forever. I competed in the beginning, and then after I got sick and my body hit the shitter, I just kind of accepted being a teacher and a coach and trained when I could, rather than trying to compete, because it wasn't worth the money. I'd rather just stay coaching guys and made more money that way. Anyhow, so that's where the K control comes from. The reason why the K control is so effective is you got to learn how to play it right. There's a lot of philosophy behind this. This is why I developed it. The idea with K control is there's a concept called low to high and high to low. And what highest end guys do is they work at the opposite of traditional jiu-jitsu. Whereas, like, you might see a guy, if I'm in my guard here, you know, they're playing and they go for a triangle, the guy postures out, and then what happens, they go low, right? They attack the legs, they go upper body to lower body. And what happens a lot of times when they rip out of the upper body, they have momentum. And by the time you get on the leg, they're already kind of jettisoning away and you lose the knee. Once you lose the knee, you lose a lot of leg locks, okay? So what K control is kind of the system was based on is, could get your base, go low, and then now I have a deep leg lock. I can, the chances of me getting this are good, but now he kind of comes down to defend because he knows I have it, and now I'm able to what? I'm able to attack high, okay? And attack high. So that, rather than going high to low, it was more low to high, and that was kind of like the idea of it, because Highest End is the best leg lock gym in the country. They have been for forever. Leg locks now are popular, but they're still new for the rest of the BJJ community. GoCore is a different level of leg locks. You'll see if you buy his DVD or train with him. It's just a different system. Okay, so that was kind of the idea behind K. Carl used it super effective. Not that he liked being on the bottom very much, but he was very good at it because he was natural talent. So I tried to mimic what Carl did, and then I just formalized it, systemized it, added it, and built K control. As a K is meaning a hat tip to Carl, because I like to do that. I don't like taking credit for things that aren't mine, you know. So hat tip to Carl, okay? So that's where K control comes from, okay? One of the reasons why I spent a lot of time developing K control is because of MMA. It works better in MMA than grappling, I'll be straight honest, because the fat guys are trying to hit you. They actually go into the techniques. Grappling, they'll play away. There's not a lot of pressure. They can kind of run more. They can be more patient. Whereas MMA, you can hit the crap out of them from K control. I'll show you some of that. And that will force them to engage. It's just, it works genius for MMA. And the reason why I came up with it is a young man named Dave Loazo. Dave Loazo was a middleweight contender. He actually fought for the title in the UFC. It was back in the day, so a lot of people might not know who he is. Dave had this thing where he has a system of fighting in the guard with elbows. He actually was GSP's ground and pound coach. He taught GSP a lot of things, and GSP is one of the most brutal ground pounders, right? So Dave had a system, and I would see him throw 1 to 2 elbows inside the guard to end a fight. Whereas most guys, you know, they bust them up a little bit, but they can't finish with that. And I saw what he was doing, and then he had a match with Evan Tanner, the late great Evan Tanner, and Evan Tanner was all over him the whole fight, dominating him, wrestling him, taking all this stuff. And then one of the rounds, Dave had this thing where he would give up his back, and then he took his back, and then he would put you on your back and escape the back and get in your guard. He had a real good system for that. And then he got on top of Tanner, he threw like 1 or 2 elbows, fight was over. So I was like, man, what am I gonna do if Dave Loazo is throwing elbows at my head? Because he's clearly special about it. He's clearly throws elbows totally different than everyone else. And he does unbelievable damage. And I came up with K. You know, I was like, okay, I'm going to take what Carl did. I'm going to develop it. I'm going to make this and that. Because if you try to hit me in K, it actually works better. And that's why. I like telling you the history of it. Because I want you to get everything from this, not just the technique. So when people talk smack about K control, you can tell them what's really up. And I like hat tipping because if it wasn't for Dave Loazo, wasn't for Carl, would I have figured this out? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But they definitely helped me. Dave's a great guy. He's still up in Canada. But he's a complete fighter. His ground game's good. He's a black belt. Everything is good. He's just very humble and quiet. But I love training with Dave Loazo. And I've learned some great striking stuff from him. And he's just a wonderful person. So if you ever see a Dave Loazo, even though you might not have heard of the name, show him some damn respect, because the guy is good. Not everybody, and you know, the guys in the past are often forgotten, but they were once the best in the food chain, and I don't forget people like that. Okay, especially people like Dave that have contributed to my system. All right, so that's enough of that. Okay, so remember with K, a lot of the system is low to high, not just high to low. You can do both, but the low to high concept, especially for modern day grappling with the obsession with leg locks as it is, K control should be played more often. Now, one of the things I studied gi, even though I'm not a gi player, because I had to learn. Jiu-jitsu has a lot of great stuff. I had to learn what they were doing, because I'm just a grappler. I'm not BJJ or anything else. I'm a pure grappler. And I studied spider guard. And I learned a lot from studying spider guard and how some of the motions were that added to my K control. Cross guard, you know, with a leg hook, the pendulum system, pendulum sweeps and back and forth. All that added greatly to the development of K control. So I did a lot of homework to develop this. It didn't happen overnight. And it's always been one of my best systems and one of my fastest way to finish a guy. If I want to finish a guy quick, I go K control. As long as he's engaging. If he's engaging, you go K, you'll eat him up. If he's disengaging type, then you still have the anchor of the leg lock. But if a guy won't commit, then I tend to go to a trapping system, like shoulder pin or something, so he can't leave. You know, I don't want him to leave. I'm making him engage. All right, but in between, K is probably one of my favorite open guards, if not my very favorite. Okay.